All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle a really powerful idea. What if your personal health isn't just about feeling good, but it's actually your single most important financial asset? Let's get into it. This quote, man, it just gets right to the point, doesn't it? We spend so much time and energy trying to optimize our stock picks, our career moves, our side hustles. But what if the highest return investment we could possibly make is something we kind of take for granted every single day? So let me ask you, when you think about your most valuable asset, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it your 401k? Maybe some real estate? Your stock portfolio? Well, we're going to make the case that your greatest asset isn't in a brokerage account at all. Nope, it's a lot closer to home. And that brings us to this key concept, biological capital. Just think of it as the personal power plant that fuels everything else you do. This isn't just about not getting sick. It's about the raw capacity for focus, the energy you have every day, and the mental clarity you bring to every single task. I mean, without a high-functioning power plant, your ability to earn, to create, and to invest, it just grinds to a halt. Letting this core asset slide, it doesn't just mean you feel a little tired. It comes with a very real and very, very high price tag. Let's talk about the hidden tax that poor health can slap on your wealth over your lifetime. Let me ask you this directly. Forget about a bad stock pick or a terrible market timing for a second. What is the single biggest liability that might be lurking in your financial future? I'm betting the answer is going to surprise you. There it is, $300,000. According to the source material we're looking at, this is what the average person shells out over a lifetime for healthcare issues that are largely, get this, preventable. That's money that could have been invested, could have been compounding, could have been building real wealth, but instead it just goes to managing health problems that maybe never needed to happen in the first place. But look, that $300,000 in direct medical costs, as big as that number is, it's really only half the story. The real damage, the truly brutal math, comes from the opportunity cost of just not feeling your best day in and day out. So you can really see the two sides of the coin here. The visible costs are obvious, right? The medical bills that show up, the prescription refills, but it's the invisible costs that can absolutely decimate your ability to build wealth. It's that promotion you just didn't have the energy to go for, the side hustle you were too mentally foggy to even start, or that brilliant idea you just couldn't find the focus to execute on. That lost potential that is often worth so much more than the visible costs. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, and it's a big one. So what's the solution? Well, here's the really good news. The highest yield investments you can possibly make are surprisingly simple. They're accessible to everyone, and they don't require you to open a brokerage account. Here they are. It really comes down to sleep and nutrition. I want you to think of getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep not as downtime, but as depositing compounding interest directly into your Focus bank account. In fact, research shows that just one night of good sleep can seriously improve your creative problem-solving skills. And nutrition? Stop thinking of it as a diet. It's the premium fuel for your most valuable asset. The right fuel just wipes out that afternoon brain fog, giving you hours of productivity back every single week. Your biological capital is literally the foundation that holds everything else up. Think about it. A high level of health and energy is what allows you to build those social connections, and that, in turn, helps you build financial wealth. You can't effectively grow the other two if the foundation itself is crumbling. The crucial point here is, your health is the ultimate leverage. Now, there's a really critical window of time where these investments have an outsized impact. It's a period where the choices you make start to compound dramatically, for better or for worse. Let's talk about that milestone decade. We're talking about your 30s. This is the inflection point. This is the decade where consistently investing in your health, good sleep, solid nutrition, regular movement, starts to pay massive dividends down the road. But it's also the decade where neglect begins to charge you that heavy tax we talked about. The habits you lock in now will pretty much determine whether you're paying for healthcare or enjoying compounded health and wealth in your 50s and 60s. So let's just end with this. We obsess over diversifying our stocks and bonds to manage risk, right? But if your health fails, your entire financial plan fails right along with it. So the real question is your portfolio truly diversified if you haven't made your single greatest asset, your biological capital, the number one priority?